everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to be looking at the McFarlane DC Multiverse Batman the White Knight Batmobile. This is a gold label McFarlane Toy Store exclusive. That's where I ordered it from, and it arrived today. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see, this is part of the Gold Label collection. A Gold Label figure is simply a retailer exclusive. Whether it be Target or Walmart, this particular Gold Label is a McFarlane Toy Store exclusive. Ages 12 plus. DC Multiverse Batmobile. Here it is on the front in all of its glory. The very unique design. The two wheels separated. And then the cockpit, the White Knight Batmobile. The front of the package, pretty much the same thing. You can see the Batmobile. Here's measurements. One side of the package, Batmobile from Batman White Knight. At the back, you can see comic drawing of the White Knight Batmobile. I appreciate that. And for whatever reason, they decided to show the red version of the White Knight Batman in the cockpit, which makes no sense. It's a version that's not accurate to the comic in any way, shape, or form, except for that red tinted cover. And at the back, you can see the action feature of the cockpit. And there is the barcode, if that helps. So with no further ado, let's open it up. And as always, I did get two of these Batmobiles, one of which to open and enjoy, the other one to keep unopened in my complete Batman-related unopened action figure collection. Alright, now that this vehicle out of the package, here it is laid out in front of you. Absolutely no accessories, no removable pieces, except for the collector's card. And let's check that out real quick. Here's a collector's card, Batmobile from Batman White Knight. On the back, there is a description. If you want to read that, pause now. So this is the Batmobile from Batman the White Knight. Batman the White Knight is both written and drawn by Sean Murphy, very talented guy in modern DC Comics. The story is sort of an Elseworld story. It's a what-if alternate continuity where Batman went ballistic and beat the Joker, forced him to take pills, and there was sort of a reversal of roles where the Joker became sane, became the mayor, and had the police hunting Batman. And there have been many spin-offs. Curse of the White Knight, Batman Beyond the White Knight, Harley Quinn White Knight, ton of them. They're still making them today, all these years later. But this is a Batmobile from the first incarnation. And it's a very unique design. My biggest complaint about this is that in the comics it's a two-seater, and once again McFarlane made the actual vehicle a one-seater. They did that with the Keaton Batmobile, and that was a huge disappointing aspect, and they did it again with this one. At least the recent Tumblr release is a legitimate two-seater. That is about my only first complaint with this thing, but I knew that going into it. Now in the comic, they also showed all the other Batmobiles. The Keaton Batmobile, the 66 Batmobile, the Tumblr, etc. And they used all of them at one point in time. So kind of cool that all the Batmobiles McFarlane has made are sort of in continuity together with this one. That being said, let's take a look. So, it has that unique design where the wheels are sort of separated and a big gap between the middle. There are these very interesting sort of stoppers in front of the wheels and guns in the wheels. That way he can ram into stuff, not damage the wheels, but personally I don't really like the way that looks. I wish you could take them off, and I mean I'm sure I could break them off, but I'm not really trying to do that. The wheels themselves spin. They spin independently of one another. They cannot rotate at all. We have a sort of silver shiny paint job, dark sort of flat gray here. If you repainted this thing, you could make it really metallic and shiny and make it look a ton better than it is now. But the sculpt is definitely there. Large, fast engine, sort of Voltron or Transformers looking logo here. Not sure what these things are supposed to be, I guess. I don't know, protect the car from debris or whatever. Looks like those things can actually come out. Interesting. Too bad these things don't come out. Personally, just really don't like the way they look. You know, nice sculpt. Little sort of defects here and there. You can kind of see a spot here. I don't know if that's where the gas is. Has rear wheels, which also spin independently of one another. Here's the bottom of the car. Not totally blank, but nothing very impressive. The back, see the brake lights. And of course, it does have this canopy, which kind of looks like Batman's head. We have the 2 ears there. Press a little button here, opens up, and you can put your figure inside. Steering wheel, dashboard, one seat, unfortunately. And looking closer at the White Knight Batmobile, it looks like there are some removable pieces, and I appreciate that. So, I don't know what exactly these things are supposed to be, but you can generally take them out. And personally, I kind of like it better without them. I also see these things here. Once again, I'm not sure what the heck this is. Maybe a step to get into the car. I don't know. Those things also kind of remove. Personally, I think it looks better without that too. And to my satisfaction, at least a little bit, the very front here. Come on, buddy. There it goes. Comes out, and you know what? It looks kind of like a gun. And I think that looks a lot better. I'm definitely going to keep these things out. To my knowledge, those are the only 3, or rather 6, removable pieces, and I think the car is better off without them. Here are all the pieces of Batmobile that are removable. It doesn't seem like anything else comes off. What do you guys think? With those extra pieces, or without them? Personally, I think it looks a lot better without all those pieces. Not one of them makes it look better. It's a lot sleeker. I understand the little stoppers in the front for possible ramming purposes. But now it just looks like it's 3 guns. I have no idea what that little thing was sticking out for, nor that one. I think it looks a lot better without all those 6 pieces. And a closer look at the surface of the Batmobile. Now I will admit, it looks very sort of toyish, very plasticky. The paint job could be better. The sculpt is just sort of very bland. I mean, it looks great. It's not like an old kid's toy or anything, but you know, just a little bit bland looking. But overall, it's definitely a nice addition to the Bat Armory and the Batmobile collection, which looks like it's going to keep getting bigger. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at the White Knight Batmobile, let's check out the measurements so you know if you have the space to accommodate this thing. From bottom to the top, about 5 inches tall. Go to the top of the ears, 5.5 maybe. As far as how long it is from front to back, about 20 inches long. And as far as how wide it is from the widest point, 9.5 inches wide. And now to check out the action features. And it really has one major action feature. The canopy opens, and you can put a figure inside. There's a button here. Press it, spring-loaded canopy opens up, and you can put your one lone figure in there. Did I mention it should be a 2-seater? It definitely was in the comics. I know I did like 7 times. The other action features we have, all the wheels spin. Each one spins independently of the other one. Of course, these two do go together. Beyond that, you have those 6 removable pieces I showed earlier, and just a pretty damn cool Batmobile. And now let's put Batman into this thing. Here's the White Knight Batman. Now, I'm actually really surprised they didn't include the White Knight Batman with a cloth soft goods cape with this car. Now, they've released the White Knight Batman 5 different times already, but I'd say the price point of the car should have come with a figure with a cloth cape. I'm sure he's going to fit in here with this rubber cape, so that's not necessarily an issue, but it's not easy to get the White Knight Batman anymore. At one point, he was all over the place, but that was 4 years ago. Nowadays, he's kind of pricey on the secondary market. I mean, nothing valuable, but you can't just go to the Target and get him nowadays. So, a reissue of him with a cloth cape as a single release, or packing with the Batmobile, would have been a smart choice. There's a bundle at the McFarlane toy store that has the capeless White Knight Batman and Azrael 2-pack with the car for just a couple extra dollars. But I never really liked the way that Batman looked. A closer look at Batman next to the Batmobile. Here's the White Knight Batman with the plastic or rubber cape inside the Batmobile. Complete clearance. Shove this guy way far down there. You do kind of got to fiddle with him, get his legs go right down the right sort of slots, make sure his cape's not bunched up. But you can push this guy even further down in there. It is no problem. And of course, you have complete clearance for the canopy. Like I said, McFarlane has actually released the White Knight Batman 5 different times. We have the Jokerized version, the sketch version, the regular version, the capeless 2-pack version, and then the red version. And I do think this Batmobile justified a 6th release with a cloth cape. I would have been all for that, including with a Batmobile, or even just a separate release out in the wild right now. Still, I'm really happy that the Rubber Cape original version fits in there, but there's a lot of people that are going to want that figure now that they have the chance to get the car. Here's the White Knight Batcycle next to the White Knight Batmobile. They don't really have that sort of aesthetic look like they come from the same universe. You know how like the Batpod and the Tumbler and the Bat all sort of look like they came from Applied Sciences, or the Batwing and the Batmobile from Batman vs Superman have very similar design to them. These lack that sort of consistency, but are still some pretty cool vehicle releases. Here's the White Knight Batman in the Batcave, doing research on the Batcomputer. Alfred bringing him refreshments. The Batsuit is lit up. Batman immediately jumps into the Batmobile. A disappointed Alfred says, "Could I persuade you to take a sandwich, sir?" And Batman responds, "I'll get drive-through." Here's the Batmobile leaving Arkham Asylum. You can see the gates right behind them. And here's an aerial view of Batman driving through the alleyways and streets of Gotham City. Here he is from the other side, chasing down the Jokermobile. Now let's check it out. Next to some of the Batman vehicles, starting off with some of the McFarlane Batmobiles. Here it is, next to McFarlane's Michael Keaton 1989 Batmobile. Pretty similar length, but a totally different design. Of course, McFarlane did make two different versions of the Michael Keaton Batmobile. One a little more glossy for the Flash movie, one a little more dull from the '89 film. And here it is, next to the recent Dark Knight Trilogy Tumbler. All three of these Batmobiles are not only featured, but used in the White Knight comic storyline. It's pretty cool. Here's the White Knight Batmobile, next to my big fat cat that we named Baby. Here it is, next to both versions of the Batmobeast. Not exactly Batmobile, but kinda sorta. And here it is, next to the Spin Master Batmobile. Spin Master is intended for 12-inch scale figures, the very large figures, and they slide all the way down the thing like a coffin. But scale-wise, it's perfect for your 6 and 7-inch DC figures. Now I always thought this was sort of their version of the White Knight Batmobile. You can definitely see the similarities. Here it is, next to the Hot Toys 1/10 scale, the Batman Radio Control Batmobile. Then, next to the DC Direct, Batman the Animated Series Batmobile. And now, with Mattel's DC Multiverse Justice League Batmobile. This is the smaller one, not the radio controlled one. I think this is the best looking one. Well, unless you count the Jazz Inc. one. And finally, here it is next to the older 2005 Mattel comic Batmobile. Now let's check this Batmobile out with some Batman figures from different various companies and see which ones fit in there so you know which lines you can mix with it. Here are 4 different various McFarlane DC Multiverse Batman figures. Some of the largest ones like the Hush Batman, some with plastic and rubber capes, some with cloth soft goods cape. So in front of you, I expect the Hush Batman and Nightfall Batman not to fit because their capes are rubber and quite wide. The White Knight Batman is a very thin cape. It's easy to sort of fit around his body. But I do expect the two on the right, Batfleck and Christian Bale Batman, with the cloth capes to fit just fine. So it was a no-go with the Hush Batman. His cape's just a little bit too wide. But I was able to get the Nightfall Batman in there. Took a bit of work, but complete clearance, no problem. I believe the Hush Batman would fit if he had the cloth cape. It's not that he's too large, it's just a cape getting in the way. Then the Batfleck fit in there, no problem. Of course, the cloth cape made it pretty easy. And then, of course, so did the Christian Bale Batman. Here's a DC Direct, DC Essentials Rebirth Batman, even with his sort of plastic cape. I was able to get him there, no problem. And then here's a NECA 7-inch scale comic Batman. Also, no problem, but this one does have a cloth cape. Here's a Mezco comic Batman with a cloth cape in this. No problem again. I didn't think it would work, but here's a Mattel DC Universe Classics Batman with that pretty firm plastic and rubber cape. That thing does not have a lot of give, and even he was able to fit in it. Complete clearance. And of course, a Mafex Batman figure with a cloth cape will fit in there, no problem. I didn't want to put any figures in here that had a bendy wire with the cloth cape, as, I don't know, it could get messed up or wrinkled. And finally, here's an SH Figure Arts Batman in this thing. Now, I couldn't think of any SH Figure Arts Batman figures that I have that don't have a cloth and wired cape, so I took this Injustice Batman, who actually has a hard plastic cape, but it's removable, so I took the cape off, popped the figure in here, no problem. So overall, this is a fantastic Batmobile. It looks great, It feels pretty good, pretty sturdy. It doesn't really have a lot of action features. You can simply move the wheels and put a figure inside. Yeah, there's a couple of removable parts, and to my surprise, it actually looks better without those parts. Now, is it a good value? I'd say it's a little bit overpriced. If it had come with the White Knight Batman with the cloth cape, I'd say everything is good. But consider we just got the tumbler for pretty much the same price with Lucius, it makes you think this should have come with a figure as well. Still, it's a very cool addition to the collection. I feel like there were rumors of the White Knight Batmobile like 2 or 3 years ago. But McFarlane, I don't know. Maybe they weren't even rumors. Maybe McFarlane was scared of putting someone with such a high price point out back then. But I'm happy we finally got it. The White Knight comic collection is very popular. Sean Murphy's art is excellent. The White Knight figures have sold very well. So, it's sort of a no-brainer. Rumor is, the next few Batmobiles we're going to get is the Batman Forever Batmobile, both the regular and glow-in-the-dark version, Batman and Robin Batmobile, Batman Beyond Batmobile, and from what Todd said, sounds like he's going to go through every single Batmobile that he thinks might sell. And there are plenty more out there. Now, if I were to rate this thing, it's really nice. Probably give it like a 7.5. I don't quite think it's worthy of the 8. I mean, it is. It's hard to explain, but in my head, I'm going to give it a 7.5. Very nice looking vehicle. The rating is kind of a hard thing to decide because I'm really enjoying this thing. It looks good. It satisfies my itch for a White Knight Batmobile. But the things going against it, I'm still going to land my 7.5 because I'm just enjoying the hell of this thing. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say with the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure and action figure vehicle reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.